everybody, and welcome to another Cricut Craft tutorial. Before we get started, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. That will make you part of my crafty family here on YouTube, and it's totally free. And you guys know me, I love something that is free. And don't forget to check out my Instagram, that's down below as well, and my newsletter. You can sign up for that for free at CorinneBlackstone.com. Today's video, we are going to feature the first tutorial from our mystery box. Now don't worry, if you did not get a mystery box, I'm going to link everything that we're using down below so that you guys can get all the products if you want to make these fun crafts as well. Today's video, we are going to use the printed pattern vinyl from the mystery box, as well as the Easy Weed and the tote that came with the mystery box. This is such a fun little craft. Now, I did get the design from Design Bundles. I will link the design below if you want to make this one. And I'm going to show you guys how you can personalize SVGs to make them a little bit more your own using the Cricut. So let's get started. I'm so excited to show you guys how to make this. We are going to start in Design Space today, and we're going to use a design that I got from Design Bundles. So I'll link it below. This is teaching you guys some really cool ways to use patterned HTV. Because for me, I sometimes struggle with using pattern HTV. So what we'll do is we're going to click upload. And we're going to need to upload two different things for this project. So what we'll do first is we'll upload the SVG. So what I'm going to do is click browse. And I'm going to go to the folder I saved it in. I saved it into my crafting quotes folder. And it is right here. And it says, if you dream it, you can create it. Right here is what we need. It is already good to go. You don't need to do anything because it's already an SVG. So go ahead and click upload. Now what I'm going to do is I want to upload the design that is on our patterned vinyl. This is going to help us visualize what it's going to look like. So what I'm going to do is click upload. I'm going to browse and I'm going to find the folder that I saved the image in. I just saved the image from the 143 vinyl site, and again, we're just using this for reference. So what I want to do is save this as complex, click continue. You don't need to do anything on this screen other than click continue. And then you want to save it as a print then cut image and click upload. Select both the if you dream it, you can create it and the image of your pattern and insert the images. We're going to do a little bit of redesigning to the SVG just so that we can kind of make it a little bit more of like what we want it to be. So let me move this out of the way. And we're going to size this down a bit because it is really, really big. So it's a little too big for our screen right now. So we'll just size it so that we can see it a little bit better. I'll make it a little bigger so you guys can see what we're doing. So we have 3 colors of vinyl, and then we also have this pattern vinyl. And we're going to try to use all of them because I think it'll be really fun. So we have the lilac, the blue, and the pink colors to use to design this. And then I want to make the little glue gun here. I want to make it this patterned vinyl. So the first thing that I want to do is select the design, and I'm going to go ahead and click ungroup. Now that's going to give us all the different parts so we can kind of sit here and change colors and move things around the way we want. So I'm going to go ahead and move the top of our glue gun, so these pieces off, and move this guy off over here just so it's out of the way. We know that's going to be our patterned vinyl. Now again, we have 3 colors to work with. So what I want to do is sort of choose whichever colors I want to be certain parts. So I'm really thinking that the blue would be a fun background for the glue gun itself because I just think that would look really pretty. So what I'm going to do is just select a blue color here, and I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see we have these different lines that we can do something with, and then we have the Dream It part, Create It. So we've got purple and pink, and then we can change the color of these little pieces as well. So let's play around and just kind of see what we like. Let's change this over to purple, and you can change the colors, just play around with them and see what makes you happy and what kind of color you like for everything. Now we don't really have a good pink here, in my opinion, and that purple's actually a little bit of a wrong color. It's not quite the right purple. So if you don't like the colors you have available, click the advanced button, and you can actually slide this little slider over and try to match up the color of your vinyl. Now it doesn't have to be exact, but you can try to get it pretty close, and then you can get a good look at what it looks like. So I'm going to change the color of this purple. I'm going to go ahead into the advanced, and this purple's a little bit more of like a bluey purple. And so what I want to do, oops, I unclicked it, is just sort of try to match it up. That looks a little bit more close to the color that we're using. So we'll go ahead and just change that. That just helps you visualize things a little bit easier than trying to do it the other way. Now, would we like to make this a different color? Maybe. I kind of don't hate that. I think that's cute. So now what I want to do really quick is I'm going to resize everything just to the size that will fit on our tote just before we do anything else with this pattern. I don't think I'd want to do anything larger than about 12 inches wide and 10 inches high. So I'm going to select my entire design, and honestly, it's pretty well sized. I think that looks pretty gosh darn good. So we may throw in another color. I'm not sure. I'm going to play around with this little silver part on the glue gun, and we might change the color of that. So let me move that out of the way really quick, because we're going to actually take this part and slice it out of here so we can see what it looks like. But I want to resize this so that it's actually 12 by 12 so that the pattern looks correct. So up at the top, just change the width to 12, and it will change your entire design here to the right size. I'm going to go ahead and select this with my right click button and send it to the back. And then you see this little guy, this is what we're going to slice out of our pattern. So our pattern, we'll just kind of pick a spot. It won't totally matter. It might look a little different, but it should be fine. So what we're going to do is select our little glue gun and select our pattern, and I'm going to click slice. Now you'll see right here that it doesn't want to slice. A lot of people will find where they don't have the slice option, you'll notice that it only selected one item. So I'm going to hold Control and select the correct piece, which was not that. I'm going to select this teal piece and our Lily and Berries print and cut, and now I'm going to click slice. What I want to do here is I'm going to use the little eyeball to hide the teal and the little eyeball to hide the full big Lily and Berries, and I'm going to move this over a little bit so that we can see what our cute little patterned glue gun's going to look like. They sell these adorable patterned glue guns in craft stores, and I love them. I think they're so cute. But I really want to use a little bit more of this pattern, I think, throughout our design, because we really could use it in a couple of different ways. So what I think I want to do is actually take some of these really cute words and maybe fill them in with the pattern. What do you guys think? Should we do that? I think that sounds kind of fun, and it would kind of pop the words a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the word Dream It, and I'm going to move it over to the side. Then I'm going to select this one, and what I want to do is take a look and see how our contour looks. So we may have a couple spots where this might not quite work because we have this little hole in the R. So I don't know if I can really quite do what I wanted to do. So maybe what we'll do, let's take a look if we just do it with the word Create It and see what that looks like. So we'll need to duplicate again, and I'm going to move one just out of the way. Go ahead and click Contour. So I want to keep all the middle, like the insides of the letters. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fill all these letters in. So just click on the middles of all the letters so that everything is filled in. And you can go ahead and select the centers as well, and we'll just see what that's going to look like. I think that maybe not quite what I'm going for, but I'm going to change the color really quick and just take a look at what it looks like. It doesn't matter what color you change it. I'm just trying to see what it's going to look like inside of our letters. That's kind of cute. Maybe, but this is kind of where you play around and see what you like. So that's one option. So I'm going to go ahead and put these down towards the bottom because, again, we're not sold on that. We'll do something else too. I'm going to duplicate again. This way I always have a clean copy, so if I mess something up, I don't worry about having to hit undo. So let's try doing an offset on this and see if maybe an offset might be kind of more what we're looking for. So I'm going to do a 0.2 offset. I want it just a little bit thinner, and I'm going to click Apply. Now it is going to turn black, and what I want to do is select my offset and click Contour because I want to fill in all the little holes that are in the offset. I really would rather they be filled in, and I think that's all the little holes. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now that's pretty cute. So let's do something really quick. And what we're going to do is bring back our sliced out lilies. And I'm going to put the offset into this and I'm going to slice it out. So we're going to select our offset and select the lilies right over here in the layers panel and click slice. Again, this is so that we can kind of get an idea of what we want it to look like. And this is a way that you can take a pre-made SVG and make it your own, really do kind of whatever you want to do with it. That is super fun. I like that. Let's see what happens if we do it to the Dream It section as well. Let's see how the offset works with Dream It because we've got that weird little spot up there in the R. So we'll see what happens. So go ahead and click apply. I don't mind it. All right. This might be what we end up with and this might be really cute. So again, we're going to contour out all the little holes because again, I don't want them. You can leave them if you prefer, but for me, I really would rather have more of that patterned vinyl showing through. So then I'm going to go ahead and set this on top. I think that looks really, really cute. So another option that you can do, and I'll show you guys this option because we can take a look and see which way we like it better, is I'm going to go ahead and bring back our lilies so we can see them. And I'm going to slice out the actual insides of Dream It. Now this can be kind of a pain because things like to move around and it's not always super easy to get everything the way you want it. Oops, and then I grabbed the wrong thing. Make sure you're grabbing the correct thing. So we're going to grab the inside of Dream It and we're going to go ahead and see. Send this to the back really quick so I can grab this. And we're going to slice this out of the lilies this time. And then I'm going to change the background of the words, so the offset, I'm going to change that to the solid color just to see if maybe we like that look better. Because again, we can just sort of play with it and see what we like and see what works for us. And if we think that that's the way we want to do it, you don't have to do this in the same way that everyone insists that it's done. You can make your own designs. You can make everything look the way you want. So I'm going to select the offset, maybe. I gotta find the offset. Nope, that's not the right one. There it is, all the way down here. Okay, so then I'm gonna change that to the pink and see what we think. That's sort of fun. Let's try the blue. Oh, it's really cute with the blue. The blue is really, really cute. And here's the purple. I'm torn. I kind of like the blue or the purple. So then I think I like it like this better than like that. Yes. Okay. Let's change that because I think I like that a lot better. So here's where we kind of need to mess around with it a little bit. So we no longer need the big lily thing. You can get rid of that. We don't need it. And we don't need the extra created anymore because we can switch things around. So this is going to be lilies and berries. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that black for now. That way we know that that needs to be cut on our pattern because we don't want to leave it as print and cut. We want to take it to a basic cut and just make it black. So we're going to do the same thing for the part on our glue gun that we are going to cut. That way we don't have to like try to remember to print and cut it. So, okay, that's looking pretty good. I like that. We still need to kind of decide what we want to do with these parts of the glue gun. I kind of like the idea of making those pink because I think that would be cute. And then what I'm going to do is this back part, the offset, I'm going to change this to a basic cut and I want to cut this one on purple. And then I want to cut this on pink maybe. And this on pink. What do you guys think? Now keep in mind that this is going to be lilies and this will be lilies. So I think that's really, really cute. That is super fun. I think this is going to be really, really a neat way to do this. And again, you can kind of play with the colors, see if maybe you want to change this to the blue maybe. Maybe you want to do all the different colors. It's up to you. You can kind of do whatever you want. And I actually really think that looks really fun. So maybe we'll do that. We'll have like part purple, part blue. I like that. I think that's really cute. And remember, you can't layer over printed patterns. So the printed pattern should be on the top regardless. This is perfect. I think it's really, really fun. The only thing that I need to make sure is attached on this design is the if you can, you can, because you want to make sure that these are attached. That's how you're going to lay out your design and make sure that it's even. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those. Everything else can be its own part and we don't need to attach anything, but we will want to get rid of some of these extra pieces that we have because we don't need them. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and delete the extra piece of that. And then I'm just going to kind of make sure that I only have parts that we want to cut. I think that looks really good. And again, we're going to leave the glue gun pink parts not attached to the white. We can line all that up on our own. Now, when we go to click Make It, I'll show you the different screens that you have. So this is going to be our printed patterned vinyl. So with printed patterned, you do not mirror the design. You want to cut this face up, not mirroring it, and we're going to use the heat transfer mask for this vinyl. Then we do need to make sure that we mirror our blue. We also need to make sure that we mirror our purple, and we also mirror our pink. Now our pink is a little bit funny because we have these little bits and bobs from the glue gun. So I'm going to actually move these up so that they're not wasting a bunch of vinyl, because we don't want to waste all of our pink sheet if we don't have to. So you can totally save some vinyl by doing it that way. And same with this. If you didn't want it to cut like in this order, just move it, because I actually prefer to have the smaller parts cut at the bottom and the bigger parts cut at the top. And you can turn things. So like if you wanted it to cut in a different order, like if I wanted to save a little bit more of my vinyl, I can just move it like that. And we'll do the same for our printed pattern as well, because again, we can absolutely save a little bit of vinyl by moving these things on our own, and we can still cut them out just fine. Like see, our glue gun fits right there. It's fine. It's not touching the Dream It, and you can move the Dream It down a little bit if you wanted. It's up to you. You can angle this a little bit more if you need to, so you can kind of turn it, and then it'll slide it over. So you can see now I've saved quite a bit of vinyl. I still have an entire full sheet over here that I can use. So now that we're ready to make it, we're going to cut everything on the everyday iron-on setting, because everything we're using is Caesar Easy Weed. So let's go over to the machine so we can get everything cut out. This is our printed patterned vinyl, and that you'll notice a few things about it when you get this in your box. It does feel a little bit different than a standard vinyl. So this is HTV. These are both Caesar Easy Weed. This is the Caesar Easy Weed, just plain old vinyl, and then this is our printed pattern. You'll notice that the printed pattern does not have the same shiny carrier sheet that this Easy Weed does. So that is one reason that we cut this face up. It actually has a clear sheet on the back here, and this part is what holds your vinyl together. And then we will use this heat transfer mask in order to pick up our design off of our mat. So I'm going to go ahead and load our mat. Now I'm going to load it, and I'm just going to put this on my green mat, and I'm just put it right up here in the top. And again, you load this color side up and do not mirror your design. Go ahead and load this into the machine, and I'll let you guys watch it cut. It's going to cut this really easily. This is cut on, again, the everyday iron-on setting. To place our next sheet. Now this one goes carrier sheet side down. So if you're ever curious as to which side the carrier sheet is, grab your pin pen, which comes in the box, and just peel up a little corner of your vinyl, your HTV here, and you'll see that one side is clear and one side is the actual vinyl. So that's a great way to tell which side needs to go down on your mat. I'll go ahead and load this, let you watch the rest of them cut, and then we can weed everything out. first thing that I want to do is add my heat transfer mask to my printed patterned vinyl. So this is our heat transfer mask, and it feels really stiff and heavy, and you'll see that it has like a paper backing on it. This is important when you use a printed patterned HTV because this does not come with a carrier sheet. So what I'm going to do, and this is how I do it, you can kind of do it however works best for you, but what I like to do is I'll peel up a corner of the backing and peel it back a little bit, and then I just lay my design onto my backing. This for me helps me save a little bit of mask. The mask is not expensive in the least bit, but I always like to try to reduce how much I use if I possibly can. So you can definitely, if you need to, trim this backing paper down a little bit to get everything a little closer together. Just make sure you don't cut into your vinyl, but you can cut like the edges off and stuff, so you can try to get a little bit more onto your mask. And this is just a clear, like, it's like, think of it like transfer tape, but it's made to get hot. So it's safer to use when it comes to getting things hot. So now I'm gonna see if I can squeeze this guy into this corner. I think I can. It might be a little difficult, so I'm gonna see if I can squish him in here. He may not fully fit, but we'll make it work. I don't think he's gonna fit. Let me trim him down. That might be throwing me off a little. And we might be able to trim off like this edge here of, and this stuff is so sticky, so just be aware that everything is going to want to stick to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just peel. You can see how sticky it is. It's so sticky, which is good. We want it to be, but it can be kind of a hassle if you forgot to like trim something or you wanted to trim something. So let's see if we can fit the hot melt glue gun in here now. I don't think he's gonna fit. He is not gonna fit, so I'm gonna give up trying. Sometimes you can fit him, sometimes you can't. It's okay, it's no big deal. So now what I do is I trim off of the carrier sheet. So that's this heat transfer mask, and I just trim it like I would transfer tape. So I just trim around my design, and I just keep trimming. And that's why I don't fully take this off the back, and I don't cut the backing off, because I feel like I can save quite a bit of it by doing it this way. And again, it's not expensive. It's just, I'm frugal. What do you want? And then just push your backing right back down onto your paper, and you can save what you have left over. Then what we're gonna do, and again, everything wants to stick to everything today. It is that kind of a day. See how we have the patterned vinyl on here? You're gonna wanna grab a squeegee, and I'm gonna go ahead and move the tote bag out of the way for now. And you're gonna grab a squeegee, and just like you would with regular vinyl when you're putting it on transfer tape, you wanna go ahead and burnish this down. So you can just go ahead and press this down. You want to do that to all of your pieces, making sure that you've covered the whole decal. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Again, remember, this stuff is crazy sticky. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to start peeling. And you can see that now this clear sheet that it came on is coming off. This is like, think of this like the backing of your vinyl. This is the same kind of idea. So then what we'll do is we'll take this one and do the same thing. And just peel it off. And we'll do one more and peel. I find it a lot easier to peel the backing off rather than trying to peel the vinyl off. A lot of people make that mistake, and we get a lot of questions in the groups and stuff. Why isn't my pattern vinyl sticking to my heat transfer mask? Well, it just works a lot better if you do it the opposite direction. So again, we're gonna cut it off here. We're just gonna trim it down, give it a good trim down, because all of our pieces need to be separate to do this. And good. Now again, remember, everything is going to want to stick to everything else. So I do try to keep them fairly separate. Over here, we got like kind of a mess going on. They all sort of wanted to stick to each other. It's fine, we can peel them back apart. But what I'm gonna do now is bring our tote bag back in to our screen for you guys. So this is the natural tote that came with your mystery box. And we're gonna put this fun design on. So the way that I always do it is I take all my parts, and I'm going to go ahead and peel them apart here best I can, and I lay them out onto my tote, and I get all my parts just taken apart. Like I said, they all just want to stick to each other. It's just how it is. So the "if you can" is definitely our top line, And then we know that the Dream It goes right with that. So we know that this will be our top line, then the Dream It, then this, everything, again, sticks to everything. So just be aware of that. Then, if you can, and now I know these are not spaced correctly. This is just so we can kind of see. Because what we'll need to do is I'm going to need to line up these with the color that matches them. So like this is the Create It one. Oddly enough, that lined up like perfectly. So that one is done. Then we'll need to do the Dream It one. Okay, that one is good. And then we have our hot melt glue gun, which sort of stuck together almost exactly where we wanted it to. So I'm going to go ahead and just fix the lump that's in there. That looks really good. So now what we can do is go ahead and get our pattern of our glue gun and get that lined up. Perfect. So this is quite a few layers of a design, but we're going to go ahead and get this all lined up where we want it and figure out how we want it to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set down the If You Can and the Dream It together, because do you see how there's that little cutout of the R? The Y for the If You Can needs to be into that R. So I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up where I want it. And I want to make sure, I kind of want to offset it just a little bit to this side because the glue gun does sit over here and I think it'll look a little off. If we have it like too far that way, the glue gun will make it look really off center. So then what I'm going to go ahead and do is lay down the You Can section and figure out where I want that to sit. And the reason that we're laying this down is so that we can make sure that everything is lined up where we want it to be and that it looks right. And then I'll show you guys how we're going to layer this. So because we have this offset, we need to make sure we set this just a little lower. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's see, what do we think? I think that looks pretty good, pretty straight, pretty good to go. So what we're going to do is layer the blue here, the purple here, and then the lower part of the glue gun. We're going to press those ones first. So what I need to do is I need to peel off the If You Can carefully, set that over to the side. I need to peel off the You Can down here as well and the Create It top part. So let's start with the Create It top part because that should be pretty easy to grab. So we'll peel that off. And then we need to peel off this part, which is just slightly under here. So just be aware of that. When you're laying this, you just want to be careful if you get it under something, just to be sure you peel it correctly. And then we need to peel off this pattern vinyl. So let's go ahead and get that popped off. And again, you can see I'm holding these down to make sure they stay where I had them laid out. And then we can do the hot melt glue gun piece. And we'll go ahead and peel off the top pieces for that. And I'll just leave those ones stuck together because that's totally okay. That looks pretty good. So if you're concerned about it moving at all when you move it over to your heat press, because I don't like to line these up on my heat press, I like to line them up on the table, get a little heat tape. Heat tape is a great invention. It is made to withstand high heat. So all I'm going to do is just place it on the sides of my decals here, my designs, because I want to make sure that those do not move when I move it over to my heat press. Now, because this is Caesar Easy Weed, we are pressing this at 305 for 10 to 15 seconds when we do the final press. But because we're layering, we need to make sure that we're only pressing each layer for just a few seconds, just long enough for this to hold down. Now this does have some seaming on it, so we want to make sure that any of this bottom seam here is pulled down like this so that it's not under your vinyl. So you can just kind of pull it down all the way down here, and we'll make sure that when we put it on the pressing mat that this stuff is all on top of the mat. I'm gonna go get the heat press all set up. I'll take you guys over there and we'll show you guys how to layer. So a quick tip that I always like to share when I can is I have a pressing pillow, but it is a little bit too small for a large design. So I keep this blanket in my craft room because I can fold it up so that it fits really nicely on my heat press and creates a pressing pillow. This is a really easy way, if you don't have something that's large enough or you don't own a pressing pillow, you can use a towel or a blanket, something like that. So again, we're going to just press this first layer for just a few seconds. Now I am going to double check my pressure because my pressure was really high because I was using it for sublimation. So I do want to make sure that I lessened that pressure by just spinning the knob on the back. So all I'm going to do is just do a quick press, and that was definitely not enough pressure. So we're just going to do a super quick press. This is only going to be for just a couple of seconds, just to make sure that we get the adhesion down. And you can just kind of check, and I can see here I've got a little spot from where we've got some like edge. So I'm just going to move this up a little bit, and then I'm going to repress it again. But I'm going to add just a hair bit of pressure to that because that wasn't quite enough. So we'll go ahead and press that again for just a few seconds. Go ahead and pop it up, and then we'll check now and see how it did. We're still having a little issue right here, and my best guess is because we've got this fold right here. So once we're done pressing, it should be fine. So all I'm going to do is make sure that I peel it away from that little spot that doesn't want to stick. And don't worry, it will stick. We just need to be careful right now since it didn't want to stick, but we don't want to overpress this first layer. So we just want to be careful of that and conscious. So here we go. We're going to get the off of the hot milk glue gun here, and then we'll go ahead and pop this off, and then we're going to get our pink layer next. So now we want to press our pink layer, so I'm going to go ahead and put the pink on to our hot milk glue gun, about where we want it. I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll do our words. So again, remember that part of the you can, if you can, does need to go into the R. So if you're having trouble lining it up, what you can do, because I tend to have a bit of a time when I'm trying to line this one up to make sure that it gets inside the R in the right place, you can go ahead and just place this down and take a look. And what you could always do as well, and you know what, let's do it that direction. Let's do it that way. You can actually go ahead and press the pattern vinyl on the words first. I think we'll do it that way. I was going to do all the pink at once, but now I think I like the idea of doing it this way a little bit better. So I'm just going to make sure everything looks good. You do want to make sure that none of your vinyl is under any of your carrier sheets. We're good on this one. So again, we will press for just a few seconds. I am going to just adjust the pressure just a hair. It wasn't quite as firm as I like for Easy Weed, and I may up it just a little bit more for our final press, just to be sure. What we'll do here is we're going to go ahead and just peel this off. Again, just press it for a few seconds. We'll go ahead and peel that, and we'll peel each of the layers. Now I do have, and I don't know where it came from, I think this was an accident. There was a little piece of carrier sheet stuck under the T over here. So what I'm going to try to do is to gently take it off and not damage too much of the vinyl. It's just going to have a little strange edge on this side. What we'll do here is we're going to go ahead and just peel this off. Again, just press it for a few seconds. We'll go ahead and peel that. And we'll peel each of the layers. Now I do have, and I don't know where it came from, I think this was an accident. There was a little piece of carrier sheet stuck under the T over here. So what I'm going to try to do is to gently take it off and not damage too much of the vinyl. It's just going to have a little strange edge on this side, but like accidents happen, so I'm going to show you guys how to kind of get that off. So what I'm using is my pin pen, and I'm just sort of drawing a line down the vinyl because I don't want to damage the bag. I don't want to use a knife or anything. The pin pen won't damage the bag, but it should eventually put enough of a section there that we can get that off. So like I said, the T is going to have a little weird spot, but this is why you really need to make sure that you are checking. Can you see that little piece? That was a piece of the carrier sheet from the pattern vinyl that got under the T before we pressed it. So that was a big mistake that I could have missed, but I messed up. It's okay though. Not a big deal. It happens. Nobody's perfect. We can fix it, and it's still cute, so nobody will really notice. The only person who may notice this little edge here is you, and I don't think it's going to be a big deal, so it should be fine. So now we're going to press the final press of our entire design here. So we have the pink, if you can. We have our pattern that goes over our little hot melt glue gun, and then we have the you can, so we're just going to kind of get everything lined up where we're happy with it. I think that looks really good. So this is going to be a full press. I'm going to make sure to up my pressure quite a bit because it was definitely not pressing quite as hard as I would like. We're going to make sure everything looks lined up. None of the sheets are under. We're going to check for any extra carrier sheet. Everything looks really good, so I'm going to go ahead and press this for the full press. And it is done, so we can go ahead and pop that open. And then you go ahead and peel these ones warm. And this again was our full press on here, so now you can see everything's well pressed down. But you want to just press each of those layers for just a few seconds until you get to your last press. And you just kind of need to build it like a puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool down for just a few moments before I move it off of our press, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. I hope you guys had so much fun learning how to work with the printed patterned HTV that I included in the mystery box. If you guys want to see more mystery boxes, let me know in those comments down below. I'm hoping that we can do more of these. I really enjoy them, and I hope that you guys do too. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, follow me over there on Instagram, and sign up for my free newsletter at my website. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and happy crafting!